Yeah, of course, there are a number of people out there who have some fairly extreme views on both of those. Hello, you know who you are.
Oh, hey guys! So if you guys are into cycling and you're serious riders, you probably know who the Global Cycling Network here on YouTube is. My favorite channel. I love GCN. It's definitely the channel that I personally watch the most, and I learned so much from these guys. So recently GCN put out a video on how much protein do cyclists need, and while I follow so much of their advice for cycling, when it comes to nutrition, I disagree with many of their points. So I'm not here to attack GCN, I'm just here to share my thoughts on the subject.
So take animal protein as an example, be it meat or milk, etc. We generally refer to it as high quality protein because it contains all of the amino acids. On the other hand, a vegetarian source of protein, such as peas here, is referred to as a lower quality of protein because either the amino acids can be missing completely or perhaps only available in very small quantities.
However, to get around that fact by eating non-animal protein, you simply have to combine foods. So generally a pulse and a grain, and then that gives you all the amino acids that you need. So it's not exactly rocket science then. A healthy, balanced diet, whether omnivore, vegetarian or vegan, is likely to satisfy all of your protein requirements as long as you take enough care with putting it together.
Alright, so I'm really glad that they acknowledge that yes, you can get enough protein on a vegan diet, but like Sai said, it's not rocket science. You don't need to do so many of these calculations and trying to combine all these foods to get enough protein on a 100% vegan diet. This whole theory that you need to combine, grains and legumes to get enough protein and all the essential amino acids was debunked years ago. In fact, let's look at the amino acid profile of, let's say, a bean like kidney beans. Kidney beans contain all the essential amino acids.
Which is your favorite?
Probably leucine.
Yeah?
No, tryptophan. I like tryptophan because it helps send you to sleep. It's in Turkey, that's why people fall asleep on Christmas Day. Now, leucine in food is found in only very small quantities, and what that means is that if you want to get that 3 to 4 grams of it, you're going to need to consume 800 millilitres of milk.
Almost all of that.
Or a cup and a half of nuts.
Almost all of those.
So I personally would take the peanuts over the milk any day, but I can totally understand that, when you're a cyclist, you're out training, the last thing you want to do is eat a bunch of fat that slows your performance down and honestly puts on the weight. But let's pull up the amino acid profile of kidney beans again. As you can see, they contain 48% of the daily recommended intake of the amino acid leucine and 65% of Dan's favorite amino acid, tryptophan. So getting enough protein and getting all your essential amino acids just from plants without eating any sorts of animal protein can easily be done. So how about those guys out in the Tour de France training every single day, putting on so many miles? Do pro cyclists and athletes need more protein?
However, when you start training regularly, the breakdown of tissue happens at a far greater rate. And that's partly down to extra mechanical stress and partially because your body can start using lean muscle as its source of fuel.
So as you guys heard, the more miles you do, the more protein you're going to have to consume. And I absolutely agree. If you want to maintain any muscle, you're going to have to consume more protein than you would as living a sedentary lifestyle. However, athletes don't just need more protein, they need more of every nutrient. And the number one nutrient obviously being glucose. Without it, you wouldn't be able to perform, especially not at the Tour de France level. Now, the reason why pro cyclists and athletes need more protein is not because they're using it as a fuel. In fact, protein is used as a fuel only in times of famine where glucose sources are not around. Now, the reason why pro cyclists need more protein is because of the mechanical stress that their bodies go through on a day-to-day basis, much like GCN mentioned. So, how much protein do pro cyclists really need?
The harder you train, the more protein you're going to want to consume, up to about 3 grams per kilo of body weight per day, as well as considering individual amino acids like leucine. Now, it is worth mentioning actually that if you eat more protein than your body can process, then you are just going to excrete it, which is a terrible waste of money but nothing else.
Now, honestly, I do not know where they're getting this figure from, the 3 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day. The World Health Organization recommends to the general population a 0.5 gram per kilogram. Here in the States, we like to recommend 0.8 grams of protein per kilogram just to be on the safe side. And some studies that I've come across recommend 1.2 grams per kilogram for strength athletes and 1.4 grams per kilogram for endurance athletes. But I think the most reliable source to go with here is what the International Society of Sports Nutrition recommends, 1 to 1.6 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per day for endurance athletes. I do wish that GCN would have referenced their source of where they got their information from, because it does make me suspicious that it may have been influenced by product placement. When it comes to protein, more is not better. Contrary to common belief, so many people at the gym chugging down protein 24/7. More is not better. And GCN, I think, made a great job of saying that, you're just going to excrete excess protein that you consume. So what's the point? You're basically losing out on your wallet. When it comes to protein, it's quality over quantity that counts. So when you choose plant-based protein over animal-based protein, you're choosing a much cleaner package of all the nutrients, and the food itself is alkaline, so you're going to be causing less inflammation inside the body, and you're going to be able to recover a lot faster than you would with an animal-based source. Also, when it comes to putting on mass, it's not really the protein that helps you get bigger. I mean, it does. It helps build muscles for sure. When they compared IGF-1 levels, insulin-like growth factor 1, between meat eaters and vegans, meat eaters had a significantly higher amount of IGF-1. So that means that they were able to experience more growth than vegans would, but higher levels of IGF-1 have been correlated to cancer and tumor growth. So consuming more protein, especially animal-based protein, is not a good thing. And I want to make one last quick point here. You see all the Tour de France riders and they're lean and fit, but have you seen any of these nutritionists? Have you seen any of these retired pro cyclists? They're all blown out. And I don't want to name anyone to embarrass anyone, but that's how it goes. When people are on these high protein, high fat diets and they quit all the training that a pro cyclist would normally do, they reap the consequences, unfortunately, of these diets. So what I'm trying to say is, if you focus on a diet that consists of whole plant-based foods, that consists of a wide variety of foods, you're going to get enough protein on a vegan diet. I mean, you look at these runners, the Tarahumara of Mexico, these elite runners, and 90% of their diet consists of corn with a bit of beans and squash. Look at Carl Lewis, one of the fastest sprinters of all time, was vegan, was eating a starch-based diet. Heck, even Arnold Schwarzenegger, the king of bodybuilding and the freaking Terminator, has come out and said, stop eating meat.
Luckily, we know that you can get your protein source from many different ways. You can get it through vegetable. If you're a vegetarian, I've seen many bodybuilders and lifters that are vegetarians and get strong and healthy.
So before I leave you guys, I want to give you just a quick example as well as a meal plan of what a pro cyclist would need, just to show you how easy it is to get enough protein on a vegan diet. The weight of pro cyclists ranges from 135 to 165 pounds roughly. So let's just say that 150 would be an average number. And referencing back to that International Society of Sports Nutrition number, the 1 to 1.6, let's say 1.3 would be a good amount of intake just to maintain the amount of muscle. They would require at least 88 grams of protein per day. So this is a meal plan that I made that I could personally eat in a day, and I'm sure pro cyclists would have no problem. We have 5 bananas, 2 cups of rice, 2 cups of beans, and 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. So as you can see, we have 85.5 grams of protein, and we have met pretty much all of our amino acid requirements without even hitting our caloric requirement. Now, pro cyclists would require way more than 2,500 calories per day. Some of them even range up to 7,000, even more. So this is just a small little sample to just show you guys how easy it is to meet protein requirements and all the essential amino acid requirements on a vegan diet. Now, there are way more consequences to consuming animal protein than the ones that I mentioned in this video, and if you guys are curious, check out all the videos here on my channel. But just from an athletic and even a health perspective, you are getting such a better overall package when you choose whole plant-based foods. Like I said, I have nothing against GCN. I freaking love their channel and I watch all their videos. In fact, they have some pretty good vegan recipes on their channel, which I would highly recommend you guys look up. So yeah, if you guys are into cycling and you haven't subscribed to their channel, be sure to subscribe. I have their link in the description down below. I think this is pretty much the first time that I've asked you guys to subscribe to someone that I'm actually critiquing. So anyway, post your comments and thoughts down below about this whole, how much protein do cyclists need? And give this video a like if you found it useful, and subscribe for more videos on the vegan lifestyle as well as the cycling lifestyle. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll catch you in the next video.
As more research into sports nutrition goes on, we are finding out all sorts of very cool new things.